The UDU, a planned development united, installed their neighborhood nodes throughout the entirety of a land. Their reach was unmatched.
Righty, here we are for the continuation of the Who is UDU series. My name's Ben68, and today we've got Tommylord4. How are you going, Tommy?
Very good, thank you. Good to be here.
Nice. It's taken a while for us to get us synced up, ready for this chat, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah, time zones are crazy.
We'll kick off straight away. That you we'll skip ahead more than we usually do. You're UDU member number 12, so you were in quite early.
Yeah, pretty early.
Can you speak to that in any way, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, your name's whispered throughout the Discord server and whatnot.
That sounds ominous.
Yeah, well, that's what you like when you just hear someone's name and you see they've got a couple mil next to their name. It's a bit like, who is this guy? But I worked with someone that I think you were sort of mentoring towards the start, and I had a small exchange with you. But then I saw something was kicking off in general chat that you were creating some sort of thing. And really, I sort of went in a bit blind, but I knew you were doing it. So, yeah, I just jumped on it.
Nice. And yeah, we'll speak to that a bit more later. You got in on a pretty sweet deal there. I had a look through before. We'll catch up to that a bit later. But yeah, Tommylord, who are you? What's the story behind your name, and especially your block explorer? What is it, a squirrel riding a bird or something? There must be a story there.
Yeah, well, the name comes from a game called RuneScape, and it was generated randomly when I typed in Thomas, obviously, because I didn't know what else. It was the first game I ever played. And the block explorer is just I find it funny, like how animals like sometimes do these crazy things. Like you've seen baby monkey riding on a pig. That was it. That was a huge hit. But no one seems to know about weasel riding on a woodpecker. And that like blew my mind. That weasel's flying. He's not supposed to fly.
That reminds me. That was an actual picture. Wasn't that Photoshopped? Was that for real?
No, that's for real. Like that's a genuine
crazy.
photo. I saw it online around the time I was getting my block explorer. I was like, well, there's no comparison to this. It's gonna have to be that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Destiny.
Yeah.
So where are you from? What do you do? Those sort of things.
From the UK. I'm in South Yorkshire. Was born in North Yorkshire, so just completely Yorkshire, born and bred. I haven't been working for a while. I volunteered for quite a bit, doing a bit of studying, trying to get back on the sort of education ladder as it is. I'm starting a new job as a paralegal Monday as it goes. So that's just starting stuff really.
That will keep you busy by the sounds of it.
Yeah. I think so.
So will you be studying and working?
Yeah, well, that's the plan currently. It's not a seriously high level of education. It's the one, the predecessor to university. So it might be able to manage it, and if not, I'll just speak to my employer at the time, see if I can work something out.
Yes, it sounds like the TAFE system we've got here, or I think in America, what they call it, community college or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Yeah, so it's I messed up my education by doing too many drugs, doing all the wrong things you're not supposed to do, but it was fun at the time. So
I hear you. Not the drug aspect so much, but yeah, I left school when I was 15, and I was just working pretty much full time, but I ended up going to uni for 10 years. So I wasn't ready to study when the teachers were telling me it's time to study. All I wanted to do was get out and do stuff,
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I finished school, apart from like, I don't know, mess around in the woods or something like that. So I didn't know what I wanted to do, but it's nice to have that bit of time to go through life a tiny bit and see what avenue do I actually want to take. So yeah.
So it sounds like there might have been a bit of scallywagging going on in your past there.
What's that mean? That's like a pirate term, isn't it?
Scallywag kind of means like mischievous, getting yourself into trouble, like that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Nice. And I remember you saying that's all behind you now, and off you go. If you're going to be a paralegal, you're well and truly on the right track.
Yeah, it is. It was more about the mental state than anything, I think. And now that's back on track, was sort of just rocketing back to where I should be.
Nice, very good. So when you're not playing Upland, what are you interested in? You mentioned RuneScape as another game. Anything else you get into? The woods, hanging out in the woods. That sounds a bit creepy, but yeah.
Well, as I said, I was born in Yorkshire, and the house that at the back of my house, my mum bought like an area of woodland off the council, so that's where that comes from. And I do love nature because of it, probably. I'm right next to the Peak District where I am, and I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but it's like a big nature reserve in the UK. And it's just really nice to get out there sometimes and just have a big walk, as simple as it sounds. But gaming is something I'm into. Not so much the crypto side. This was sort of my awakening into the crypto world. My mum's been going on and on and on about like Bitcoin, and
your mum has
telling you all this. Yeah, my mum's like crazy into it, and I'm there like, here's my NFT. So yeah, she seems to enjoy the fact that I'm a part of it though. But yeah, gaming is sort of what I do, and walking. That's the combo. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, my mum, she knew that I was playing around with crypto, and then I think it was like in the big 2018 rush, she was like trying to throw money at me. I'm like, I'm not going to look after your money. If I ended up setting her up with an accountant, I think she put $200 in, and at one stage it was worth well over 2,000. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, good stuff.
That's pretty good. So moving on to Upland, how did you find it?
Well, I was, as I say, I do a lot of walking, and I heard about something ages ago called Sweatcoin, and I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. So I downloaded it, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's a token kind of thing. And I was looking into like dodgy stuff about it. I was like, oh, how can I buy Sweatcoin so I can buy the prizes and then sell them on for real money? And then looking through sort of some forums, it just popped up. It was a guy just saying, check out this latest thing. And I was like, all right. And I did it. I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning at this time. Like it was one of those like nights where you just can't sleep. I'm just on my phone, like just like this, like yes, this looks great. Started in San Francisco. yeah. Started in San Francisco. Couldn't buy a property. Put the phone down. Picked it back up. I was like, no, I want to do this. Got on the train to Fresno. I bought a property. It was far too expensive. And I bought another one the other side of like absolute mayhem. And then
all
I was
the mistakes.
Like, I was like, sod this. I'm dropping a tenner. I'm going Uplander.
Nice. Yeah. Just going back to the sweat coin, you're the enemy, mate. You're the enemy.
Yeah, in what respect?
Well, I was involved in an ICO project. Yeah, if you're not sure what that is, that's called an initial coin offering. So that's like you could buy coins before they went on the market, so to speak. And I got involved in a project called Limpo, and it was exactly the same. It was like get rewarded for walking or running and exercise and that sort of stuff. So at the time, we were all pretty much on board getting that up and running. And then this evil sweat coin come on board, and we're like, oh, look, they're jumping on our coattails and copying what we're doing over here. But yeah, that's funny.
Well, it's pretty dead now, so you can have the last laugh.
Yeah, nice. And actually, that company Limpo is now morphed into an NFT thing. So I kept my tokens from back in the day, and now it's involved in NFTs. So it's funny how it comes full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you started off in San Francisco, and so that was obviously sold out at that stage. How long have you been playing?
No, like late February.
Okay.
So there was still properties. There were around it told me the cheapest was 5,000 at that time. And obviously I didn't know anything about UPX World. If you're not a part of the Discord server, you don't know anything when you go into Upland. You're just there and you're like, right, so I'm a floating cone. Like, well, that's that. How do I move? I don't know. I'll buy that. But that's the sort of thought process that went into it. So,
it's not very intuitive to start off with. I know when I started it was pretty similar. It was just get what you could get. But you moved over to Fresno and did the classic mistake, buy a couple here, there, and everywhere. Was that first one that you bought, was that a market buy?
Probably. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you, probably a market buy. I would have known the difference between FSA. I wish I took a second. Or then again, I wish there was resources that were easy to access on YouTube that would have given me that information that I was looking for, a very short clip or something, just say, right, this is this, this is that, this is this, go here, go there, before you start buying random stuff. But,
So do you know if you still have that first property that you got?
I definitely don't.
I
rinse through all of my properties all the time. I have no attachment to anything. I'm there to get a fat amount of UPX, and one day, maybe in the UK, drop it all. So somewhere that I know, like America is fine dropping money on, but I don't have any understanding of what anything is over there. It's just sort of like, oh, I'll buy this to make some money. I don't really care about it too much. Yeah,
well, we've seen a lot of players be very successful, like not marrying themselves to properties and be willing to, to flip and flip again and that sort of thing. So if that's your strategy, I would imagine you've done pretty well through all the recent releases, Brooklyn and Oakland and the Staten. Oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
I
would have.
We'll get to that a bit later, perhaps. Yeah, but you were definitely involved in the Brooklyn, because I remember I had a look through our DMs and I don't know what was happening. There was something there. There was some competition or something where you had to spend 200,000 on a purchase, and you'd ask me about maybe I'll buy one off you and you buy one off me, but we did the math and we were going to get ripped like 40,000 UPX in fees or something. And at the stage,
I think that was
you
probably
said you
half
were
of my
saving.
network.
Yeah,
that's probably half my network. Yeah.
Nice. So at that time, you were saving for Brooklyn.
Yeah. So that had been a bit ago. Our exchanges go a little bit before then as well, I believe. When I was working with our associate, I don't think she's a part of it anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, that was just the earliest one that I could find in my chat. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
With Brooklyn, how did you go? Did you get burnt along with everybody else, or did you manage to grab a few?
I was actually really lucky in Brooklyn. I was working for someone as like a FSA buyer. Looking back on it, I probably won't do well. I shouldn't have done it, but and I already knew quite a bit about the game at that point, so it did feel like they were telling me, "Oh, you're going to get a lot of information for doing this, which will help you so much," which didn't truly work out that way for me. But yeah, I got 6 properties on. Is it Broadway? The exclusive. What was that road called?
Yep. Yeah, the orange.
So I managed to get either 6 properties on the first release or 3, and then I got like 3. I did that honestly. I did really well considering the circumstances.
And was that the player? Did they front load you the UPX for that, or was that your own stack?
Bit of both. So I ended up, and it made it very awkward when we were dealing with the stuff afterwards. Business.
Yeah, I know. I had 3 or 4. Actually, it might have been more like 5 or 6 FSA agents for that I'd front loaded, and it was a bit of a tricky situation because we'd worked out the deal, we'd agreed to the deal, and then suddenly all these properties that they were holding were suddenly worth 5-10 times what they were worth. So yeah, it was a tricky situation. I personally made sure I looked after people on the back end of it, but I can see how if you were on the other side of it, you might have felt like you got a bit ripped there.
Yeah, and as it is, it's just a learning experience. From there, I had a decision: did I want to stay FSA, which I didn't know was against the terms of service. At that point, I wasn't made aware. Obviously, it is my responsibility to do that. But yeah, I was just like, sod this, pro. I'm not doing any of this malarkey anymore. I'm glad I did, especially with the that 2 FSA rule that came in. God,
Yeah.
that would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like everyone's pushing those new players by as many FSAs as you can, but you're stuck holding them. I think you'd be better off.
Yeah.
You'd be better off trying to grab a few of them and then just minting like regular properties. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one.
Yeah, I got my girlfriend into playing. I gave her 80 grand as Staten Island opened, as I couldn't do anything at that point. And I was like, go to this collection area and see how you do. I don't know what it's going to be like. She managed to get something like 70 Tottenville properties. Worked out it's going to take her 9 months to sell them all. So yeah, it's going to take a while.
Yeah. Well, if she's patient, it might work out well at the end.
Well, we worked out it's like the lowest it's going to be if they all sell at 10 grand. It's going to be like 700 grand. And that's such a nice little bit of passive income. I didn't have anything like that when I was FSA. I didn't understand it. So for her to start with such a strong start and have that constant little drip coming in, that'd be really good for her.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when I started, there was the secondhand market. There was nothing there basically. It was just people just buying and holding. There was very little traction there at all.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so obviously you've learned a lot of lessons along the way, and you've had experience working as an FSA agent. So obviously, if you have you worked with FSA agents yourself besides your girlfriend? Have you worked with other players?
No, I just keep it to friends only because it's just politics and stuff. I don't want to write up a contract and all that. It's too much effort. Just help my friends, give them a big chunk of money, and I'll get it back at some point.
Cool. So, with all that in mind, what do you think your greatest success has been then?
Have
you had any yes moments?
I think probably this release when I sold that building for 650k. That was like, I mean, I went in to Chicago with like 300k. I didn't really have much. I really tried to get, I think it was Mag Avenue or Mag Mile, whatever it's called. Didn't manage to. And my dude just sort of drifted over to the coastline, and I was like, oh, that's a nice building. I like that. It's got a pool on the roof, so I'll buy that. I mean, I didn't do enough research. And I was like, oh, I was looking at it in the Google Street thing. I looked to my left, and there's this absolutely massive one next to me. I'm like, well, I've got to have that one as well because it's next to this one and it's bigger than the one that I really like. So I've got to get that one. So I took a loan out for that one, 10% payback, and sold it for 650 to a UDU member, which was pretty awesome. It's nice to know.
Is that Big Nick? Is that who you? Is that dude?
Yeah.
Nice.
Big Nick. It was unfortunate. Nemo wanted to grab it, and to be honest with you, I didn't know what the property was worth. So I was like, oh, right, Nemo, I'm just going to put it on 650k because I do this thing where I'm like, I don't really want this prop to sell, so I'm going to put it at a ridiculous price, what I seem to think is a ridiculous price. And it sold, and I was like, oh god, I feel really bad now because me and Nemo, like he's been really good to me, and I'm sure he's been really good to a lot of people.
Yep.
So yeah, it felt a bit bad, but it was nice to know it at least went to someone else in UDU.
Yeah, it's been funny those I don't really want to sell prices. Like I've pretty much taken everything off the market because you'd be surprised how many of them actually sell, and especially if it's a collection property and it breaks your collection, and you're like,
yeah. That was my biggest property to date. So yeah, it would have been nice to keep that, but at the same time, as I said, just gonna keep grinding those properties through the UPX grinder and hopefully just keep getting UPX. Yeah.
I suppose it depends what you do with those funds in turn. So you got a big fat check there, 650k. Did you put it straight back into Chicago? Are you still sitting on some? What did you do?
No, it went straight back into Chicago. I have sold some just now, but just slums, just pure slums. I've got 225 properties in South Chicago. I've got just everywhere dotted around in the like slummy sort of areas, just to sit on and sell whenever needed. Although I have sold some now because trying to secure something for UDU. Yeah.
Nice. And were you selling them close to mid price, or what sort of markup were you putting on those?
Nothing crazy so far because they're at the floor. So I bought them at like 2,100. So I'm just selling them at 1,700. So I get
2,700. You mean? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm getting 2,560 or something like that because of fees.
Yeah.
But that's mainly because I don't really want to sell now, if I'm honest with you. But it's sort of like a piggy bank that I can go into and be like, I need to do hunts for Spark. I need to do this for that. So I mean, I'm still making a profit on it. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the markup I ideally want.
Oh, profit's profit, mate. There's been plenty of times where I've sold hundreds of properties under me just because I want some UPEX quickly for, some other opportunities that show up.
Yeah. Well, in fact, I sold a Manhattan Beach collection I bought it on the secondary market, so it isn't under mint, but I bought them all at 80k or 70k. So it's kind of expensive as it was, but I saw that it was rising at one point, and then some things were released and it dropped again. So I sold them at like 60k a piece. So I lost like 20k on each of them. Like 80k drop, but I mean, I've made that back 100 times over. There are definitely times where it's well worth to sell under mint for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that gets back to what you're saying with, not marrying yourself to any particular properties or collections and that sort of thing. Yeah, be willing to take a risk. Okay, so it sounds like you're a bit all over the place with your properties. Where do you think you're mainly based? Yet to be determined.
Yeah, no, there's not really a base. I'd say MTU because of the that's where I'm going to be building initially. Although I've got to tell you, they are the properties that are on loan, but they will definitely be bought back. So don't worry about that. But yeah, the MTU. But if not, it'd be South Chicago because I've got 225 properties there, and that's over half of my sort of catalog.
Nice. Although I suppose if you're talking about stacking up for London or wherever, obviously that would become a main focus when it comes online.
Oh yeah, that's going to change in maybe like 2 weeks. So yeah, it's not stable.
Okay. So what keeps you playing? You said early on that you put the phone down and you walked away, and then you came back. Or what keeps you turning it on and keeping playing?
I mean, initially it was just probably the fact that I just couldn't sleep, so I wanted to continue doing something, and then it was more like it's always been like for me, a game's a game, but like the community does definitely make it for me. Like community is a huge part of anything, and I won the community challenge or whatever it was called by writing about community, and next one read it out, so like it shows that is like something that I'm really interested in. And the content creation that I've started as well, that's something that keeps me coming back because obviously I want to make videos, but I also want to make sure I'm learning to make these videos. I don't want to be misinforming people and throwing out crap just for people just to get views. Like that's not what I'm about. And it is a bit addictive. There are sitting there buying 200 properties knowing that you're going to make a profit on it. It's interesting. And the bait and the what's it called? Fear out is like, I mean, a lot of people really want that, and it's one of their main focuses within the game. For me, I mean, it'd be nice, sure, but I probably feel this way because I haven't invested so much real money into it. And
was the £10 start? Is that all you've put in, or have you chipped in a bit here?
I put like. Yeah, but like I think the most I've ever bought in one go is probably $40. So I'd say maybe under $100 or just a little bit over. Like it's like I'm a very small amount of input, and that's like £80. So it's like it doesn't even sound like a lot when I put it in my own currency.
Yeah, when I started off, I knew I knew it was going to be a game that I was going to play a lot, so I wasn't worried about spending, $10 a week, $20 a week. I was easily going to get the entertainment value out of it.
Yeah, when I initially started playing as well, I think that a lot about free to play games as a gamer. I believe that microtransactions do sometimes ruin games, but at the same time, sometimes microtransactions is the only way that a developer can get money in. And it's not like I'm not getting anything for it. But every time I buy UPX, I'm like, why did I buy that? Because if I had bought this prop, and this prop, and then sold them, I would have got that anyway for free. So it's, love hate.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same with my dividends. I think if I had just waited 3 or 4 days, I could have done it. But like you said, there's something about those blue pixels. I don't know what it is, but there's something about it that, it flips a switch in the old brain.
This release, there was a park that I don't even know why I wanted it. I had a look at after I'd bought it. I was like, why have I bought this? It's just a plot of dirt. There isn't even anything on it. But I was like, I was in this thing and I'd bought one half of it and the other half was just sat there. And I was like, well, I've got to get it. And I was like, well, that's $5. I'm just going to have to do that because I can't own half a park. So yeah, it's addictive.
Yeah, it's like back in the old arcade games for me, it was like one more 20-cent piece. One more, I'll try again. One more, I'll try again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Frustrating. Sure. All right. So what are some of the future features that you're most looking forward to? We know we got property development just about to kick off. So anything else you're pumped for?
No, not really. This is strange for me. Like, I know a lot of people are sort of excited about what the game's going to become and stuff like that. And I've been a part of new things before and I've seen them fizzle out and stuff. I enjoy Upland as it is, and I enjoy just the flipping property side of it. I do struggle to see how I will be living a life within Upland. Maybe it's just because it's such a bare bones structure at the moment. I can't see myself getting in a car and going to places and stuff like that, which, I hope I'm wrong, because it means I'll play the game longer. But I do genuinely just really enjoy the sort of mechanics that we have now. And I disagree with the people that say it's not a game, because to me, that is the game. The game is the flipping the properties. That is the game mechanic. I'm not here to play Call of Duty or a fast reaction time game.
Fast and the Furious or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, cool. So with that in mind, you don't have any seeds in your brain for business ideas or future things you want to mess with?
I mean, as it comes of now, no, not really. I mean, I'm not a very business-minded individual as it goes. I mean, I've had a business qualification and a administration qualification, and it's just not something that ticks with me. These sort of ideas aren't something that brews. And I think being quite new to this sort of area of like NFTs, crypto, is limits me to be able to think what is actually possible within this sort of space. So it'd be more looking for inspiration than anything initially, and then maybe taking that together and building something from those ideas.
Nice. So yeah, that's a different perspective where you're saying that you feel it is just a game and you come from a gaming background. So with that in mind, and the way the game sits now, what are some different things that you think the team could implement that would, improve or increase the gamification of what we currently have?
I don't know.
So you turn your phone on and you open it up. What's the first thing you're checking to do? Are you treasure hunting? Are you checking your messages to see what's sold, or what are you into?
Well, I am a bit of a sitter and a waiter and check what the floor is and then go back in a day and see what the floor is. I tend to just mess around in the community, and when I am on Upland, it's usually for like a purpose. I think maybe I don't have a specific idea, but something that brings people like me back daily that isn't treasure hunts. And I mean, obviously that's super vet, like anything could be within that bracket, but I don't know. It's difficult to say because it is such a unique game. I've not really seen anything like it. So it'd be like, I can't think of a mechanic that sort of sits with it and that I've played before that would that would be a good sort of pair up with it. I don't know.
So you didn't play around with treasure hunts too much?
I mean, I did today. Once I heard, well, I've been hearing it in the general chat about Spark being in the chest, and I thought it was just like the special hunts or whatever they're called, the Genesis hunts. But it turns out they're not. So I initially went to Brooklyn, tried to do a treasure hunt. You can't do treasure hunts there, for anyone that doesn't know. So I went back to Manhattan. I did a few. I was like, nice one. I've got 3 chests. So I've got 0.3 spark. So I spoke to Nubs, and he was like, no, that's 0.03 spark. And I was like, oh my god, I'm going back to Chicago.
Yeah.
So,
I thought you could do treasure hunts in Brooklyn.
I don't know. It said that I couldn't in that city. So maybe it was just a bug, and I didn't try again.
Oh, did you check as soon as you got off the subway?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some kind of weird glitch. I've noticed that myself. When I landed in Chicago, when I went to send, no, it must have been Chicago. It must have been Manhattan. The last time I landed in Manhattan, you land at the airport and you go to send to Manhattan, but it tells you you can't send because you're still in transit or something. It takes 3 or 4 minutes for it to clear something. Yeah, there's something happened there. Weird one.
Probably it then. It's only like 90 UPX anyway, but I would have saved a lot of money doing my treasure hunts in Brooklyn. But it was nice doing it in Manhattan, actually, to be honest, because it's like that. So if it's pointing upwards, it's just like, cool, I just go up there.
Yeah. Very good. Now, you mentioned that you're become a content creator, and I think one of the first videos of yours that I watched, and I had to laugh. What was it? Sad boy crying for 12 minutes straight or something? What was the title?
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it was. Yeah,
it was something like that. Yeah, I was kind of shaking my head but laughing at the same time.
Yeah. Well, it was a bit of a play on myself, you know. I watched the video afterwards and I was like, God's sake, Tom, cheer up, mate. Like, it's a game. Like, chill out. But so I had to like show people, you know, that obviously I'm serious about it, but at the same time, I can easily laugh at myself because I can see how like ridiculous it can seem.
Yeah. And that's you know, we've talked about how, you know, your angle is that it is just a game, and yet you found yourself in jail. There's not many games that you can play where you can be jailed.
I know.
Would you, like, for those of us who know you and know you within the UDU and the community and that sort of stuff, we know the sort of history, but can you give people that might not know the backstory and how it all unfolded and worked out, can you give us a rundown on that?
Yeah. So I was jailed sometime last month, I think. I was in there for 19 days. The initial email had hints of multi-accounting and asset funneling. The reality was it was OTC, which is over-the-counter sale, which just means a sale between 2 people using a currency that isn't UPX. I was back and forth with I had a few transactions with these people, and I didn't really get anything apart from we're looking into it. And then on the 19th day of being in jail, I was released with no fine. I tried to just push it back to the back of my head so I don't think about it too much. I missed a few releases. That's the real reason I'm salty about it. I'm not really salty about being in jail in general, but and the fact that there wasn't really a reason for me to be in there sort of adds salt to the wound. But yeah, that's the sort of general story.
Yeah, that was, from what I could see from the outside, you know, obviously it was a guilt by association or assumed guilt by association situation, but yeah, the biggest punishment was that you missed out on all those releases, which, especially as someone yourself who is you know, you were a self-confessed flipper. That must have been excruciating. Yeah,
well, it did put a bit of a darkener on Upland, to be honest with you. I didn't go on it for a long time. I'd sort of checked on it, made a few YouTube videos, but it sort of pushed me away in quite a negative way. But once I was back, it's pretty easy just to get back into the swing of it. I think I was just getting a bit too caught up in it all, because them sort of things can happen. Put too much importance into some things.
Oh,
But,
I mean,
and a little
if it
note,
was, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
and a little note on the jailing. No one was guilty. No one paid a fine.
Oh, really? Yeah. So, I mean, if you were guilty, you'd cop it on the chin, but knowing that you were innocent and that, you know, there was nothing there, yeah. I think you've got every reason to be salty.
Yeah, I'd be extremely embarrassed if I made all these videos and known I was guilty. I don't think I would have bothered. Yeah.
All right, so moving on to more positive things. The UDU, we already spoke that you're team member number 12, so you were in pretty early on, and you mentioned that you just happened to see me talking about it, and I kind of dropped a hint that you got in on a pretty sweet deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did you want to talk about that? Or?
Well, to be fair, at the time I was like, "Oh, this is a bit steep in it." I was looking at the mint price of the properties. I was like, "Oh God." Well, it's Ben. He must know what he's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, was it 10K a piece? I think it was.
Yeah, and I think I explained to you that, yeah, I wasn't really concerned, especially in those early stages. I just wanted to get some solid people on board, and I knew we'd been chatting for a while backwards and forwards, different things in DMs and that sort of stuff. So, you know, I knew you were one of the people that were, you know, if you said you were going to do something, you were going to follow through. So I wasn't too worried about it.
Yeah. That's one thing I'll always try and do. I mean, you've got to keep your integrity even if you're online. And as I said, community is really important to me, and you're just going to lose all your respect and all these different accolades if you start being a dick.
Yeah, and am I right in your properties, were they all together or are they spread out?
I think I had asked for them spread out.
Yeah, I think so too. And that was
Typically.
down in the residential area. We talked about this in the meeting before. Are you aware of, are you going to be able to build on all three of those, or is there any skinny ones? Or
I haven't had a look, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'll have a look. Yeah, have a look into that, because I didn't even think about it, to be honest. I was a bit confused with what you meant by residential business initially, but I'm glad I chose residential because I've got no business idea.
Yeah,
I'll be the car park.
nice. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's probably going to be the case with a lot of those properties that are too small, or depending on the scale of the cars. Who knows? They might be way out of scale.
Surely,
as well.
Surely that could be a business in itself.
The car parks.
In a car park, they make so much money in the UK. I don't know what it's like everywhere else, but they're raking in cash.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in the real world ones. I know when I lived in Japan, there was some awesome car parks. Like you could go and you see a high rise building that has no windows in it, and I'd say to my wife at the time, "What the hell's that?" And she's like, "That's a car park," but it's a high rise building with an elevator in it. It's just an elevator of cars.
Yeah, I've
it's
seen some stuff. That's madness.
Yeah, and like how fast the thing moves, and it just drops your car there, and you back it out, and away you go.
Like a vending machine.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. And like you said, they make huge money.
Yeah.
Very good. So, how active do you feel you are in the UDU itself?
I attend every meeting that I know about, even if I'm just sat there twiddling my thumbs. It's a good place to be, to be honest with you, because even if I'm not speaking, I'm sort of hearing about what's going on. In general chat, I'm fairly active. I'm not talking in there every day, but I'm not often talking in any chat every day. I mean, I say the odd thing every now and then, but yeah, I feel I'm fairly active within UDU more than any other, even general probably. It's my most active server on Discord.
Sure. And do you feel you have a role, or we talked about this just before?
Yeah, well, currently I don't really have a role, but I mean that's not anyone's fault but my own. I enjoy the freedom sometimes of not having anything to do. Also, not having a role is quite comfortable. You don't have to think about how much you know about the game and stuff like that. But yeah, we're looking into setting up a new node. Me and Jacula, we're just having a look at some sort of areas that we both agree on. So yeah, and I need to work out what it actually means to have a node.
And so with that, if that comes to fruition, you're kind of branching off a little bit from your flip mentality. You're kind of building a little nest egg for yourself almost.
Yeah, I mean, I would still pursue flipping, absolutely, but I just keep that as a little project on the side. If anything, it might be a little slow down in progression of my flipping abilities, but I mean, as I told you, community is a big part of the game, and I'll need that block to keep me in the game.
Yeah, and there's no reason you can't do all of the above.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, talking of the UDU, what do you think something that we do well as a group?
Coming together, I think that's probably the thing. Everyone in the main chat super friendly as well. That's something else that you don't get in the general. I mean, I started talking about my jailing in general chat, and I was just like, "Oh God, you scum, get out!" Like,
was that yesterday? I saw you getting a hammer with somebody. Something. There was a troll session going on yesterday.
No, that was something else.
Was it? Yeah.
No, that was more. Someone was saying, like, feeling like the collections aren't coming out tomorrow, and I was like, yes, they are. It was like just just stir pots. No real reason for it. I probably shouldn't do that sort of thing. But no, it was way back.
I've kind of done the same thing. Like with all the UDU bashing that was going on, I tried to justify it, and I was getting nowhere. I tried to ignore it. And now I'm just leaning into it, and just having a bit of fun with it. Bring it on.
Yeah, you've got to, aren't you? Really. Some people's opinions won't change, and as soon as they see one thing and they've got one opinion, they're just going to be sticking to it, and everything you say, they're just going to try and be like, well, yeah, that's why you do this, you're evil. So
twist it around.
Yeah,
very good. What's some things that you think we could improve on, or tidy up, or fix up, or do better, that sort of thing?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm a very video-y person. So maybe getting your information that is text into a simple video format that just gives a very simple explanation of what it is. Or if you've got a list of rules or a list of values or something, if it's in a video format, it's much easier for me. But obviously that's down to what kind of learner you are and all loads of different things. But if you just put a video on and be like, this is what the visions are of UDU. This is our, that's what
I think we just found a role for you, mate, because you don't want to know how many times I've sat down to do that. Like, you know, with our various documents, we put out the frequently asked questions and blah, blah, blah. I've sat down and tried to do it, and it's take 48, and I got no patience for that.
But what you should do is you should delete all the good parts of those videos, get all the bits where you go bollocks, like compile them and just have that on the channel.
Well, it's funny you say that. There's a presentation I had to do for one of my uni degrees, and I was sitting here one Saturday afternoon, and there was one word I just could not get it out right, and or I'd get that word right, and as I'm talking, I'm thinking in my head, oh, thank Christ I've got that finished, but then I'd stuff up something simple, and I was just fuming, and I actually cut it up, and I posted it on Facebook for like my family and friends, and it was just a pisser. It was just me going off my head, and then and then it was right at the end. I'd finally nailed the take, but like the last probably 50 seconds or something, the next door neighbour started up his lawnmower.
It's like that here. I live in a shared house, which is like affordable housing in the UK. So there's a dude up there in the attic. We share a house together. So like he'll come down the stairs, and I've got this like big chunky mic that's taking in everything around me. It'll take that, and I'm for fuck's sake. And then so it takes a few takes. It's never just one take for sure.
Well, would you be interested in doing that if we give you the documentation and you piece it together and we put it up on the UDU channel?
Sure, yeah, as long as I could have maybe a link to my channel on there as well or something like that. I'm I would, if that's, I know that's absolutely cool because I don't mind just doing something for UDU selfishly. But it'd be nice. Yeah.
Well, we'll check it out. You can give it a go because it's definitely something that I had in mind that I wanted to do, and it's always in the back of my mind. But it's just, Or there was one day I sat down and I did a video the other day, but it didn't capture the screen properly, or there's something going. Yeah. I was just like,
I changed sound. I change like audio devices all the time, and like sometimes it's just not recording anything. It's like, oh my god! Like, and I've sat there 5 minutes explaining something really well, and then for the next 10 times I try to record it, but like it's just rubbish. It doesn't make any sense.
Yes, absolutely. All right, well, just wrapping up. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss or talk about? You got any sweet properties for sale that you want to pimp out?
No, they're all rubbish, and they're just at the floor. So buy them if you want to flip them in like a month. I'm not
quite
gonna
the
lie.
salesman.
Yeah, you'll buy them because you want them. You're not gonna buy them because I'm gonna tell you they're good.
All right. So how can people? You mentioned your YouTube channel. Where can people find that sort of thing or follow you?
I post quite often, almost daily, in community projects. My username on YouTube is the same as my username in game, although I've just realized I've been sat with my real name and not my in-game name all video, but that's fine. It's Tommylord4, so you can find me on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that might not show up in the recording. We'll see how we go.
Okay, cool. It doesn't matter either way. I don't mind my real name being out there.
Nice. All righty. Well, thank you very much, Thomas, and we shall catch up with you.
Yeah, cheers.
Growing.